Handbrake problems? Well, maybe I can help you fix it for free. I'm trying to produce the ultimate guide to how the Land Cruiser handbrake system works. The handbrake itself has a reputation for being a load of shiny and bright, and unfortunately, I don't know a damn thing about handbrakes. I've never changed even a brake pad, never mind a handbrake or a cable. But all of that will change today, so the goal here is to fix my own handbrake and then help you fix yours, maybe without spending £1 or $1 or an Australian dollar for that matter. And I've just discovered there's a hole in my trousers, but hey, we're going to press on regardless and I'll throw these in the bin later, don't judge. So here's why it might be broken. Everything's probably seized up. The middle pivot, the clevis pins either side, the cable guides, the cable itself could be jammed, and you can fix this for free with some vice grips and some penetrating oil just by giving everything a damn good wiggle. This was my problem and I could have fixed it that way, but I ended up shooting it with the parts cannon like I always do, and I spent more money than I needed to replacing the brake pads, the brake discs, the brake shoes, and the handbrake cable when all I needed to do was free it off. You can free off your handbrake. Don't be like me, don't spend the money, check first. You might also discover, like me, that everything has been caked in underseal by an idiot. Clean that shit off, the handbrake system needs to be able to move freely. You can't do that if it's covered with garbage underseal product. Number 3, your shoes might need adjusted. You can do this for free. There is a hole in the brake disc for you to adjust with a screwdriver tension on the parking shoes. You poke the top of it with a screwdriver to add tension to the handbrake system. That might be all you need. Sometimes owners will go into the back and adjust the cable tension instead because they can see it, so it seems obvious to them. Instead of taking off the wheels and doing the shoes, they just tighten up the cable, which then stretches it. So they do the bit they can see rather than the bit that they need to adjust, just to avoid jacking up the car and taking the wheels off. Don't be like that, do it properly. You also might discover that your shoes just need replaced. If they're so worn that you're out of adjustment, it's time to change the shoes. And also, you'll probably find that the discs are also in need of change because there's a lip that forms on the inside because the shoes eventually wear through the disc and then you can't even get the damn thing off. Number 5, you might discover that one of your cables needs replaced. Mine certainly did because it had been adjusted by an idiot and it was stretched by almost 2 inches. Again, because they adjusted what they could see, not what they needed to adjust. Thank you, dog. Or if you're having a complete disaster, you might discover that both handbrake cables need to be replaced. There's a section on the right-hand side, which I got for about £40, but the long section connects to the left handbrake and runs all the way up to the bottom of the handbrake lever. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to replace that. But number 6 is you might have to replace both cables. Well, how does a handbrake design actually work? Well, when the handbrake is off, the 2 springs at each side hold the stopper against the backing plate. That stops the shoes from rattling around inside when the handbrake's not under tension. There are 4 pins which pivot and allow the cable to move freely and centralize, and Toyota calls this equalizing. The pivots allow the levers and the springs inside the drum to relax the shoes into a central position away from the disc's surface. And the handbrake shoes themselves live on the inside of the disc brake, called the bell. To get the disc off and access the shoes, you have to jack up, remove the wheel. There are 2 17mm bolts for the caliper bracket and 2 14mm slide bolts for the pads. Now to access those shoes, it's probably going to be jammed, right? So you can put 2 M8 bolts, which are, maybe 60mm long at least. You can put them into the disc belt and then you can wind them in order to prise the disc off. Oh, my good tap and die. Ta-da!
Do you want to film the innards? What's left of your pads?
Probably when you crank it off in that way, you'll discover that the springs will break and the pins will bend, so you're probably going to need a supply of spare parts. Here in the UK, you can get one from Rough Tracks for about £40. It's a Fabest kit, I believe, but it gives you all the springs and retaining pins that you would need in order to rebuild this mess. Inside the drum or the bell, there are 2 springs at the top. Those bring the shoes into a central position when the handbrake's off, and the 2 springs have different dimensions. They're not symmetrical. In the middle, you've also got a dog bone. That keeps the shoes from going too far into the centre. Keeps them in a neutral position, and you can get longer dog bones too. They're useful for part-worn shoes. I'm going to get new shoes on here, so I'm going to refit the standard dog bone and keep my long ones in a box. And there's an assortment of retaining springs and washers that keep all that mess in place. Pulling on your handbrake lever adds tension to overcome the springs and squeezes the shoes outwards. and then that equalizer yoke allows the handbrake to share tension between the left and the right hand sides of the cable. The disc brake itself has a drum inside, or sometimes we call it the bell, and the handbrake shoes sit inside and they press outwards in order to brake the wheel. That's also the heaviest brake disc I've ever encountered. Not even my RS6 had brakes that massive. Now the trouble starts because the mechanism is a bit crap. This is where it all starts to go wrong for Toyota. When you pull on the handbrake, the shoes don't move outwards to put pressure on the disc. All they do is they move the top. The top flares out, and that's what stops the parking brake. It only really activates the top. The centre pins hold it in position to equalise the force, and the adjuster bracket on the bottom keeps the bottom end in play. But really, when you pull the handbrake, only the top is getting any force. And as the shoes wear out, then the adjuster needs to be spread in order to keep force on the bottom of the shoe. If you never bother to adjust your handbrake, only the top of your shoes will be applying pressure. On the inside of the car, there is a handbrake light that lets you know when the handbrake's left on, and also that serves as a warning for your brake fluid pressure. So if that comes on and your handbrake's off, it's time to top up your fluid. Now let me simplify some diagnosis for you. I want to help you solve your handbrake problems for free if I can. Start off by inspecting the cables at the rear before you pull out any of the tools. Make sure the clevis pins can rotate at either side, and make sure the pivots can pivot. I was able to free mine up just with some vice grips and penetrating oil. You might need a little bit of heat, but start there. You can do it for free, you don't need any parts. Now if everything is moving freely and you still have cable slop, then it's time to use the adjuster in the centre of the handbrake cable. So when your handbrake is off, the stoppers should touch the backing plate. Adjust them. And if the stopper still can't reach the backing plate, then you probably find an idiot has adjusted your cable too much. You might need to lengthen the handbrake cable on the adjuster and let the springs do their work. Assuming you have freed off all the pivoty bits, of course. Now you might need new springs in order to pull tension onto the backing plate, but it seems unlikely. Mine are 23 years old and I replaced them because I have them, and they had shortened by about 3mm. Now when your handbrake is on, the disc should not be movable by hand. Adjust the shoes through that hole with a screwdriver if you need to, and tighten it up until you can no longer move it by hand. The car will need to be in neutral so the diff can rotate, but once you've done that, you shouldn't be able to move the handbrake by hand. Tighten it up until you can't shift it, and then back it off a notch. For me, I like to be able to move it with a breaker bar or a lever, but I don't want to be able to move it by hand. So what was actually wrong with my handbrake? Well, everything was seized, and I mean everything. The two pivot pins on the left were stuck, so when I released the handbrake, I had cable slop. It wasn't able to pivot and release. The stoppers on both sides never touched the backing plate. They were adjusted to nearly their maximum length, but none of the clevis pins could rotate. The shoes never released, even when the handbrake was fully off. And on the right-hand side of the car, the lever was pulling upwards instead of pulling away from the backing plate. So that didn't properly engage the brake shoes when I did pull the handbrake. So the stoppers are at maximum and it still isn't enough. The right-hand side of the cable can't relax because all of the slop is on the other side of the central equalizer bracket. The equalizer can't move, the cable can't center properly, so again, the shoes didn't release, and so they just wore away. And once they did get worn and loose, they squeaked constantly, which is how I ended up here in the first place, is because of a deathly annoying squeak. So to fix it, I replaced the right-hand side of the cable, the cheaper part. It's about £40. I didn't have to replace the full £250 handbrake cable because it's sectional. I just replaced the section that was stretched. It was about 2 inches longer than it was supposed to be, and the adjuster was so seized and so tight that it was irreparable. I freed off all of the pivot pins since nothing could move anyway, and I replaced 2 of the springs since they'd gotten longer with age. Then I adjusted the stoppers to the right position so the shoes could relax, and then I adjusted my handbrake to a sensible bite point. The greatest challenge I had was getting the right side of the cable to pass through the equalizer bracket. The old one was so seized that no amount of chiseling, tugging, torching, flogging, bashing or yanking would release the tension. I started making some relief cuts with the angle grinder, and that escalated into just cutting the whole thing apart and bashing it with a hammer against an anvil. Now, remember, if you're going to do dangerous things with angle grinders and cutters, at least use some vice grips to hold the piece that you're chopping. Save your fingers from being moved. I'm actually using the vice grips here to protect the collar, because I don't want to cut that with my grinder. I just want to cut this equalizer bracket thing. So my vice grip should stop me cutting the sensitive part, and I can just try and cut more off the sides here. That's the plan anyway. See, it's starting to separate here, but it's really hard going. Nothing that I can do other than cutting off chunks is separating that yoke. It's just completely seized in there. There's nothing I can do apart from cut off the equalizer bracket. Just for comparison, this is the old and the new, and nothing that I have done has worked other than cutting off chunks of the old one. Ugh. Here we are, it's finally moving. What started as relief cuts has just become me cutting the entire thing apart. I still can't get it to walk up. It's still jammed. Anyway, the point would be, at least we have discovered now, we have learned that this thing should slide out so that I can replace the short half of the handbrake only. But that's a 20-year-old handbrake, so it's so seized. It was never going to happen. There we go. It's off. What did we learn? That is supposed to slide through because it's a 16mm hole and a 15.5 rod thing here. But it just wasn't going to happen. So I've had to destroy it instead. The most important thing is that I was able to save £250 because I didn't have to replace the entire handbrake cable, but it took me a day and a half to do all that. It probably would have taken me even longer to run all the way up to the middle of the car and replace the handbrake cable underneath where it runs along past the fuel tank. Yes, you can do it without removing the fuel tank, but I don't want to. After I measured it, I can confirm that equalizer yoke hole is 16.1mm, and the cable at its maximum width is 15.7. It should go through there. That's the design in order to release the two parts of the cable, but it's probably going to be completely seized. Certainly my 23-year-old one was jammed so tight I had to destroy it. Honestly, I'm not used to this level of problem solving. I'm a computer guy. This is not what I chose for a career. A little retaining pin is thoroughly jammed inside there. So I'm using my anvil. I've got a socket for a receiving cup, and I've got my punches out the end in another set of vice grips, so I can set the pin in the socket so that I can knock it through and give it a good crack with the hammer. Done, I think. No, not done. Progress though, it is pushing through. What a mess though. How do people do stuff like this for a living? Now I think I'll just give this the wire wheel along with the shank that goes through the handbrake cable. Try and tidy that up a little bit and then reassemble. Fortunately, I've got a whole bunch of spares for this job, which I ordered from Amayama, because I'm going to need them. I've had to cut up so many of the pieces of the handbrake in order to get it disassembled. My whole problem here was just a seized handbrake. I didn't need to replace my handbrake shoes or my discs or anything. It's just everything was seized. Right, handbrake is now off at both sides. I had to do a lot more cutting than I would have liked. Basically angle grind both sides and the middle off, but I knew this was coming, so I've got replacement equalizer bracket, replacement shims, because the old ones are really tired. I could reuse that, but I've got the spares, so I don't need to. Pins, and the little retaining clips that go along with them. Got a couple of these spare clevises, clevi. Got a couple of spare clevi also. So, fortunately, I was prepared with lots of spares, but this thing was entirely seized up, and I had to cut everything off. I probably could have fixed this for free. Well, this equalizer bracket, it has a special bolt which has a bush. I was able to just press that out and reuse the one from the old bush. It's still in good enough condition. A unique bolt, a normal M8 bolt won't do the job. That's sandwiched up as best I can. It's a bit grubby, but it'll go. And once my bush is in place, I can reuse the bolt that I started with. It's going to be a little messy, I think, but we'll get the job done. So once I'd cut all that off, I was then able to cut off the old clevis joints. That was the only way I could get access to the pins in order to push them out. No amount of heat or penetrating oil was going to shift them. I couldn't get my clamps in there to press them out. I just had to cut everything out. Once I had those out of the way, I had better access to get my vice grips on and give everything a damn good wiggle in order to shake it free. There we are, double pins on this side, stoppers touching the backing plate. Equaliser bracket can move freely. The cable is slid all the way over, it's secured there. Centre bracket's in place, again, securing the cable. And then on this side, the last clevis, although the parking stopper isn't touching that side. So that cable is at maximum length there. So that's about 3 inches, so plenty of adjustment left for the future. I also fitted discs, shoes and pads, which in the end weren't even needed. And my hope is that watching this video, you will at least be able to save yourself that expense, because a lot of these handbrake problems just come because it's seized. Hopefully you can learn from me and save yourself some money. Now moving forward, I'm going to add handbrake lubrication to my regular maintenance list. I'll probably do it at the same time as I do the drive shaft yokes, but I don't want those pins to seize up again, because that was a freaking nightmare. Alright, I appreciate this is a very long video, might even be my longest ever video, but there's a lot of information to try and put out here. I couldn't find what I needed. I couldn't get the really detailed information that I needed about how the handbrake worked. There's a few videos, like there was a good one from Crazy About Cruiser, there's another one from Jungle Cat, but none of them gave me the full overview that I needed with all the really detailed info. This took me 4 days to figure this out end to end, but I am not a professional. I'm like a computer guy, so this is really hard for me. I hope after watching this video, you can now go a lot faster than me, and you can also spend less money than I did. So if you liked the video, click the thumbs up. I'm really glad if this helped you. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe for more, and we're doing Land Cruiser videos every Sunday at the moment. Thank you for watching, everyone. Stay safe, make good decisions if you can, and I will see you in another video next Sunday. Thanks, everyone.